What's going on, everybody? It's Randall by himself, just checking in with everybody. It's kind of strange. I used to do this a lot when we were first starting. I would just get in and talk about fantasy football or something, but it's real strange getting on here and talking by myself, especially about life and sports. And I don't have a script. I'm just going to kind of ramble for a few minutes. There's supposed to do a music show, had to reschedule it last minute. Please look for it. It's going to be something super nice. Camden Smith, Chris Taylor will both be on here. A lot happening in my sports world. A lot. So let's start there. And let's talk about Freddie Freeman and his choice to sign with the Dodgers. And I want to make it clear, I think this was Freddie's choice to sign with the Dodgers. Atlanta put a 5-year, $151 million offer on the table very early in this, and Freddie said no. Now, there's a lot of theories going on about why Freddie chose to walk, why Freddie did this, why Freddie did that. Let me tell you what I think and what I've been able to pick up for the local media. I think Freddie felt a little jilted by the Braves. I understand that Freddie was the face of the franchise, but to me, he was not the franchise. Everybody said Freddie Freeman, oh, the Braves wanted to, Freddie's the leader, Freddie's this. The Dodgers got an absolutely great guy and a great player in Freddie Freeman. Don't get me wrong. Nothing but respect and love for Freddie Freeman in the 15 years he spent in Atlanta. But if Freddie Freeman wanted to be in Atlanta on March 18th, 19th, whatever it is, 2022, he would be. He chose to seek the market. And then I really don't blame him for doing that. Freddie Freeman goes into the open market. He's a great player. He needs to go into the open market and see its value. So he sticks his nose into the open market and sees the value and sees what's coming out of him. And basically, I think the Braves, all things considered, was right in the wheelhouse that what he signed with the Dodgers. I think the Braves offer was $51 million, 151, and the Dodgers offer 162. Tax rate in California versus Atlanta, incredibly different. I've seen some breakdowns on the internet where Freddie would have got home with about $4 million more with the Braves deal than the Dodgers deal. Now, here's where I think things fall apart. And I really don't understand Freddie's saying what he did in the press conference. So let's go. So Freddie's agents calls the Braves early last week or week before last, gives the Braves two choices for offers, a 6-year and a 5-year, and gives the Braves 1 hour to take this offer. First, it's the most unprofessional thing I've ever heard of. Knowing the Braves are owned by RiverCity-Media, and things don't move that fast when you have a corporate owner. Could Alex, the GM, agree to it? I guess so. But the fact that you give a company like Liberty Media 1 hour to agree to your terms, if that's true, then I completely understand the Braves' move. If my employee walked up to me at Sprint when I was there for 13 years and says, you have an hour, will you move me to $14 an hour or will you not? I would have simply said no. And it feels and sounds like a threat when you tell someone you have an hour to accept my offer. Now, that becomes the part that I do have a falling out with Freddie a little bit about. He goes to his Dodgers press conference and makes it clear that the Braves front office had only called him 2 times. I don't think the Braves were negotiating straight with Freddie Freeman. They're negotiating with his agents, who has given them a deadline which the Braves refuse to follow. You have 1 hour to sign your contract or we're moving on. The Braves say, okay, you can move on. Then the Braves make the trade for Olson, which Freddie then goes into the press conference and goes, basically throws the Braves under the bus for making the move to get Matt Olson. So you've gave the Braves a deadline. They didn't follow the deadline. Your agents and your representatives have told the Braves you have 1 hour or we move on. And the Braves do not take it. What choice did the Friedman camp leave the Atlanta Braves with? To me, none. I think the Braves went about business as the Braves do as a mid-market team. I think they signed a trade for, which I think they played a high value for Matt Olson. Langoliers is a great defensive catcher. He's going to be a great player. But it's Matt Olson. So if you were going to get me to rate first baseman, I think Freddie Freeman's the second best first baseman in the major leagues. Now you say that twice. Second best first baseman in the major leagues. I think Matt Olson is third. So the Braves replace Freddie Freeman with Matt Olson. Axe get him immediately tied to an 8-year contract after being told, no, here's your deadline. I wish Freddie Freeman and his camp nothing but luck, but I think the Braves acted in the best interest of the Braves franchise. I think we see that with them signing Eddie Rosario, with them continuing to be active in the free agent market. I have nothing but love and respect for Freddie Freeman, but you overplayed your hand if you wanted to be a Brave. And I think some articles have been put out lately where Chipper basically told him he overplayed his hand. As much as players love baseball and think the Braves are inside that 25-man locker room, it's a corporation, and they make corporate decisions. And unfortunately, I think Freddie made a bad decision for himself. Now I want to move on just a little bit and talk about the Deshaun Watson situation. As I thought I had my Falcons hat, I don't. Deshaun Watson goes to the Cleveland Browns. The Falcons very aggressively pursued Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's a very talented young man. A NFL 26 years old still, which shocks me that Deshaun Watson's 26 years old. A very talented young man with a bright future in front of him. That said, I'm glad he's not in Atlanta. This is one time the Braves pursued a trade, and there's a lot of reason personally as a dad of a young girl, that I find what Deshaun Watson done appalling. There's all kinds of story, but there's no denying there's a lot of smoke. Can I say Deshaun Watson did what he's accused of? No. I don't have evidence in front of me. Can I say that my 55 years where there's smoke, there's usually fire? Yeah. And there's a lot of smoke, not just a little bit of smoke, a lot of smoke. There's going to be a lot of legal ramifications to the Deshaun Watson case. And for the Cleveland Browns to give him a guaranteed $230 million contract seems almost asinine at this point. You have guaranteed Deshaun Watson more money than any player in NFL history. He is subject to suspension. He's even subject to, I don't know, I guess there is still more that could play out with this in my head. The Falcons were offering, as I understand, not in the room, can't tell you, A.J. Terrell, the number 8 pick this year, the number 1 pick next year, the second-round pick they got from the Titans, and the second-round pick that belonged to the Falcons, plus another pick or two, probably in the mid-thirds, mid-fourth. Do I think we should stay? Should the Falcons stay with Matt Ryan? Is a tricky question. Not only did I have a problem with the Deshaun Watson deal from a personal level, if I look at what the Falcons were giving up for Deshaun Watson, I think there's a better way to rebuild in Atlanta. Um, I personally prefer the path of the draft to rebuild. It is much slower, much more painful, but it is long sustaining. Now, this class, if you listen to everybody in the media, there is not an elite quarterback. But I remind you, Patrick Mahomes was about the third quarterback taken with one of the last picks in the first round. I think he was, well, maybe he's mid first round. I do have a couple quarterbacks I really would like to see in Falcons uniform. But if they're not there this year, then you wait. You trade out, you trade back, you gather picks. I was just not about tying the future of the franchise 100% to Deshaun Watson. So I think the Braves may have dodged a bullet where I could wish Freddie Freeman all the luck in the world, all the success in the world with the Dodgers. It's very hard on a personal level to wish Deshaun Watson all the luck and all the success with the Cleveland Browns because, frankly, I am still torn after reading all the stuff that's been in the media how to feel about the Deshaun Watson case. It is sad when sports becomes involved and you almost become a legal expert reading the sport page. It's not what sports is supposed to be. Next, I want to talk about just a minute about what happened last night. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Tennessee, Michigan last night. I am disappointed, to say the least. But I also said, if you were listening to Reckless Speculation earlier in the week or 2 weeks ago, that anything can happen in the tournament. But what I really wanted, what I really desired was an SEC tournament championship. This team won an SEC tournament. This team goes 1-1, and make no mistake, Michigan outplayed Tennessee last night. I've been waiting 2.5 months for that night of shooting from the balls, and you got it last night. We shot horrible. Michigan did what they had to win the game. There is nothing we should take away from that Michigan game other than Michigan outplayed Tennessee. So leave it there. But Isaiah Kennedy Chandler and Juwan Howard's moment after the press conference gave me a little renewed faith in Juwan Howard. I was very vocal that he should be fired a few weeks ago. But that's, as Tom, my friend from Easy Speak, said, that's the good side of the emotion of Juwan Howard. I have no doubt that Kennedy Chandler needs to act in what's best for his family. Kennedy Chandler is a first-round pick in the NBA draft. Don't stay. Go. Take care of your family. Take care of yourself. You're a Vol for life, and you will always be a Vol for life. And you gave the Vol fans a very special moment in Tampa. And it's a shame you went out in the round of 32. This team had more energy in it. But that shooting night, you can't shoot like Tennessee did, especially against a team that can rebound in Michigan. I think the secret of the game was the big center from Michigan that we had no answer for. You got to think that Huntley Hatfield and Odai, I can never say his name right, a year from now will be bigger, stronger, and able to deal with that. But, we just, even Placid was bullied around by him a little bit. So, congratulations to the University of Tennessee. Great season. We had a nice run, and it was a lot of fun. So, something I'm going to do a little more is these ramblings, something a little more we're going to do maybe a little more edited version of Reckless Speculation. But all the guys need, have unique opinions, have unique things they think about sports. I am very grateful for the folks that do watch us. Some weeks it astounds me how many people actually take a moment of their life to tune in to four knuckleheads sitting in their living room talking about sports. It's kind of humbling, to be honest. If you do support us, thank you very much. We are trying to grow. We're trying to get on radio stations very hard. We're trying to bring this to you in a different form. We are trying to bring this to you in a manner that is not as long. You can digest a lot of content real fast. For the guys at Reckless Speculation, I'm Randall. Peace.